Here we go, guys. We are live. All right, appreciate you guys joining. For those who traded the FOMC with us yesterday in the community, man, awesome job, well played. I just want to jump into kind of how we played it. We were live on TikTok, so if you were watching yesterday, I mean, y'all can keep it honest. But let me unmute make sure I got the Harmonic Tracker Pros on there. Perfect. All right. Let me take this off here real quick because it seems like it didn't load. Yeah, we'll just add that back. And what I'm going to briefly talk about, all right, we'll let that do its thing. I'm going to briefly talk about kind of how we played it yesterday, guys. So you can see here, market open was around here. I was not interested in taking a call yesterday. Our indicator actually caught the call going north this way. But you can see here, I was waiting for that to load. So we did catch that long call, right? But I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't take that. I think some people in the room did. I was kind of waiting for that drop. The thing we talked about yesterday mostly was, that with the FOMC is the market built in the expectation that they were not going to raise the rates, right? And it was like a 5% chance they would, right? So most people knew that they weren't. The problem with that is we end up overbought. And as you guys know, pretty much every day this week, I've talked about how we are overbought. And so it kind of ends up like a case of buy the rumors, sell the news, right? So people buying into the fact that the news was going to be bullish. Although the news is bullish, what I talked about all day yesterday when we were in the room, you guys in the community, keep me honest, is that although they aren't going to raise the rates, which is bullish, there's going to be probably some bearish discussion, as if he comes out and says like, hey, it's looking great, but it's not fast enough, right? It's not good enough. It's not. That's going to knock off, a lot of people off their pedestal from, thinking that it's just going straight up. And that tends to flip it into bearish, which confuses people because they're like, oh man, take a long, I'm going to let this ride. And then they get caught in this and they're like, I don't know what happened, I mean, we were going up, the news was bullish, right? But you got wrecked. So the interesting thing is this also acts, when we were talking about it during this fall, as, kind of like a, clearing of liquidity type situation, right? And so the whole time that we were falling, I was telling people, trail it tight, right? And so you can take your earnings because one of the things we had talked about, right, if you zoom out, right around these levels, we had prior resistance. And so there was also a trend line really close to here. We did head off the Bollinger Band. I told everybody as we were down here, I'm like, y'all need to get out of this because we're going to bounce. And the funny part is I actually told everybody, I said, look, if you want to re-enter a put, if you don't want to take this call like I didn't, wait till 438 or so, right? Because we'll get a nice rejection. And it was so cool because it literally hit 438.15. So that was really cool. I know a couple people jumped in a little bit soon, in here. And, as a trader, the hardest thing that you can teach is patience and discipline, guys. And, CK talks a lot about this, but the difference between the, $100,000 trader or the $1 million trader is that patience, because those who decided to enter here, yes, you got out in profit. You're in good shape, right? But those who waited for that 438, they waited for that just perfect setup entry. You guys, probably earned about 5 times as much profit, right? So, you got to have that patience and discipline. But it was so exciting because it just played out so perfectly. And our indicators just absolutely crushed it. You can see here, we had our head and shoulder. We got the short call way up here, got the crab, so called the first fall, still called the double top. So we hung into it. Even when it found its support and reverse, right, it flipped to that long, called the long. And then, basically all through market, it didn't call another short, right? So we're kind of hanging out. So it didn't call this short here. So I'm looking for a short possible call on open. And then, that will allow me to take that other put. Kind of what played out as far as, this big push and why we got the bounce, guys, is this push was not necessarily entirely news impacted. Otherwise, it would have just kept going, right? We would have never rebounded. We had this kind of rising wedge going on. We had a head and shoulders that pushed us into the rising wedge. The news pushed us past the wedge. Everybody freaked out because I'm sure everybody's watching this rising wedge, and they basically took their profit. Because keep in mind, as we're way up here, there's a ton of people that entered down here that are holding on to these trades, right? So they just basically closed their trades likely, along with the people that were taking the push, right? And the Bulls played it out well, for the time being, because they let the Bears have their fun, right? Double topped it here and then flipped it, and then all the Bulls just made a ton of money just in that little move. So that's kind of our play yesterday. It was just such a great play, and the indicators just absolutely crushed it. So you can see that the pre-market is way down, almost $2 down, right? Typically when the pre-market's down about 50 cents, maybe within a dollar, I guess, you can see a pretty good reversal. This one's pretty far down, right? So, but you can see that it's right around the same support level it held here. So I would say if we open up and we hold this level, we're likely to push back up to retest around 437 or so. If our indicator, we open and our indicator calls a short, right, I'm going to take that put, because we definitely have some more gap to fill and some downside. Like I put out in the room, if you go to the 1 hour here on the SPY, you can see we did get our kind of bearish divergence here, and it started to play out here. We did get our flip red, so we do need to come down and touch this green. It's been since last month since we've gotten to a point where we're oversold, right? So we have all of this right here. We're still in that overbought area. We still have some room that we need to pull down. The one thing that with the RSI is if you look at it, we always go green to red. We find our way back to green, we find our way back to red. So play your range accordingly. I'm still mostly taking puts. I'll just wait for the proper bounces before I enter those. Dixie, I'm not going to touch too much on. It looks like the news hit, but it didn't seem too impactful, because it looks like the Dixie just pumped, dumped, and back in the middle currently. So my TA that I threw out here, guys, when it comes to the Dixie, is we had our push up. We called this rejection off of here. We just been kind of breaking down. It needs to hold this level of support, because this was once a resistance level, right? And so it's trying to hold support here. If it can continue to hold support in range like this, it's just a higher low, right? And then we could have that push north. Keep in mind, we could have fall all the way down to 101 in this level here, right, and still be bullish, which sounds super weird, but it's possible, right? So just kind of watch for that. Tech stocks I'm not going to touch on, but Apple is rejecting off of that new all-time high, which is not surprising. Everything else is pretty much down in the pre-market, which is likely why the SPY is down. Bitcoin, I'm going to touch on here briefly. I did a TikTok on this too. You can see that the indicators that we had, look at, you can kind of see it up here, but look at this call in the 1 hour. So we called this short, literally called the long back, called the short, and then this short right here, if you look at where it lined up, it's actually the end of this candle, right? So it called the short. It typically calls it right on open. So you could have rode this wave. If you actually rode this rising channel, remember, you guys, if you look back in our community events and the huddles, I've been talking about for some time that this, we might not be done with the downside, because of the fact we had a rising channel here and we could not break the 200 EMA on the 1 hour. So we were still in a short call, had never threw a long call, so it did amazing on the indicators. And that did play out. We had our breakdown. So people are worried, there's a lot of fear in the market because of the SEC, but at the end of the day, all those fears and stuff are warranted, but at the end of the day, the technicals are still there, right? We still had our fall, we had our rising channel, we had our fall, we had our rising channel, we had our fall. So, if you really kind of zoom out like this, we kind of had our pump here. You had our fall 1, rising channel, fall 2, fall 3, right? Do I think there's further downside? Very possible, right? Because like what I put out in the room here is, this is my low. So if you go to like the 6 hour chart, I want to show you guys this. If y'all remember back here, this was back in March. This is what I was talking about, how like, guys, I am shutting down all my shorts. I'm only running long, right? And we rode this train up. You know, this is a pretty significant trend line, and we've only hit it one time. And this is why even up here, I was telling everybody like we're going to come back for this trend line. It's going to happen. That's why we've been mostly playing the shorts, right? So we're almost at that trend line. It's almost there. Now, when would I become very, very bearish? I'm telling you guys, this line is everything for Bitcoin. If you're not following this on the 1 hour, you're nuts. Because if we actually break not only below this trend line, but if you take this yellow line, right, what was once resistance acted as support, needs to act as support. Anytime you have a cross like this, you know, from our horizontal and our upward trend line, right, it typically ends up being a pretty strong support level. So, you know, this could be a situation where we have one more fall, just a crazy wick, right, at some point, you know, comes like this, and then pumps up. Now, you know, if we get into anywhere in this level and we begin to hold support like this, I'm going to probably make a side modification on the ATA, and I'm going to pull back a lot of my shorts because they're just too risky right now. When would I be concerned if I'm in a long and I'm stuck? If we break this white line, right, we break through it, right, and we come all the way down into, you know, some of these other lower levels where they used to be resistance, right? So you got like here around 22.8, you got here on 21. If we break so far past this, right, and we bounce and then we act as resistance like this, resistance, you're likely in trouble, because if we hold resistance at that line, I mean, we're almost destined to come back here and retest this low here. If it does break down here, I mean, there's not a lot holding it up. I mean, you got some support here, you know, which at the end of the day, you know, even if we fell all the way to 21, right, we're still creating a higher low. So it's still bullish. But I would be really shocked unless, you know, continued beatings from the SEC news come through if we break this white line on the first try without some kind of bounce. So just kind of play your range, guys. If you go to the 1 hour again, I'm gonna kind of revert back to that. You know, the high today, I would suggest I would suspect we could push back up to around 25.9 to retest this 1 hour 200 EMA. The low I have is about 24K, right? So it's about $1,000 movement up, movement down range. Just kind of play your range. If you are looking for indicators, guys, we have our indicators. I mean, these things have been absolutely spot on. I can kind of show you. Let's see where it's thinking right now. So currently it's in a long here. Looks like it just caught this short scalp, and then now it's in a long 24.9. So we'll see how that one plays out. So Ethereum, I will touch on briefly. If you look at Ethereum, we actually hit that white line. So if you go to the 6 hour, I was following something similar. Now there's actually two on Ethereum I'm running. So I have a longer one. I think it goes, yeah, all the way back here to the low. Kind of run it through here, right? So this is like the low of low line for me for Ethereum. This is that same white line though for Bitcoin. Interesting, because Ethereum looked like it was holding pretty strong, right? But where it found support here was a lot higher. And so if you look at it, it actually is right at that line, right? So this is a very important line to watch. We are extremely, if on the 6 hour, right, oversold. I mean, just we're so low. Like you look back, I mean, we haven't been this low since back here, and look what happened, right? So just be careful. My suggestion, if you are continuing to short this, that's fine. Crypto is different than stocks for me now. In the crypto side, I'm actually staying long. On the stock side, I'm staying short. On the crypto side, if you want to take shorts, that's fine. Just set some stop losses. Don't try to fight that, man, because we could go right back to 21K or 2100, and you're gonna be in trouble. As far as the divergence center, we are still holding red. Nothing has flipped green on the 6 hour. On the 1 hour, nothing has flipped green. We are just in a buy area. That's it. If watch this white line, if we continue to hold just like Bitcoin, right, and we get past these squeezes, right, we're going to see you know, that kind of down over up situation. So but this is going to be heavily dependent on stocks too, because remember, this is why I said crypto's in a bad spot, because it already had a fall. So if the stocks, you know, open up and it just absolutely tanks, right, in a quick motion, then it's going to pull crypto down pretty fast. Now, if stocks just bleed, right, like this, like a slow bleed, then it might not pull crypto too much slower. So it's going to really be heavily dependent on how the stocks act there. So All right, let's jump into the ATAs, guys. As you guys know, we have enabled the copy trade. So if you guys are not copy trading, this is the ATA section. We call them ATAs. It's Automated Trading Assistant. Basically, it's a bot. We don't call it a bot because one, it's way more than a bot. There's a lot of settings and things that you can do within it that make it just so much smarter. So we had come up with the name Automated Trading Assistant because it really is what it is, right? So like if you go into Bitcoin, which is one that we're running, you get these indicators and you get to change all these settings, right? That's why we call it an assistant. You are the one in control of the settings. And then depending what settings you tell it to do, it's going to execute, right? So that's why we call it that. So let's take a look. As you guys know, this left side here is what I'm running on the copy trade. We record all of our copy trading. So those who signed up for the copy trade, you don't even need a TradingView account. All you have to do is log in, connect your exchange and select copy trade, and then we take it over from there. I'm not initiating any of these trades. These are all automated. I'm just simply doing the TA and choosing direction. So we are currently running Aave long, BTC long short, ETH long short, LTC long short. This is my to-do list, so we're going to review all of these. So let's take a look at BTC. You can see here in 2 days made about 86 bucks. It is absolutely killing it. You can see on the shorts we have we had a trade here we got out. We're actually in a short now, which is pretty close, if not actually green. And so that one's really looking good. I know the long did get stuck on BTC. It did DCA here, right, which did break down one more. We did not have a second DCA for BTC. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to place a second DCA, and we're going to place it somewhere around this green line, right, that we're anticipating a pretty big bounce. So if you're copy trading, this is kind of my plan. So we're going to take this second DCA. I'm going to move it down to like maybe 5%. Let's see where that line, remember we're looking for that white line. All right, so here's the white line. So we want to go a little bit lower, because I do want to be a little bit conservative with where we initiate this one. So 8's a little bit low. Let's try 7. I'm trying to get it. You don't want to put it on the line, guys. If you're following along manually, you just want it like slightly above the line, like right around here, like maybe 24.2, something like that, right? So I'm good with that. We don't want to be too aggressive because we do have a third DCA that we can do, right? So even if we don't get a bounce here, let's say the news is terrible, we collapse, we're going to use that third DCA somewhere super low down here and pull our entry, right? So we'll be all right. So the long, we're going to do that. And remember, anytime I make a setting change, all I have to do is delete the alert here. I'm going to pull this off real quick because I do have to change one thing on the alert here. So give me one moment here. So for our copy trade, I do have a separate webhook, so I had moved that out, so I'm gonna move it back in, and you don't get to see that one. All right, so we are back in business. Let's get this loaded back up. And we are good, right? So I think I did not name it. That's why it's not popping up. Did I name it? Just standing by here. Yep, there it is, copy trade right here. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and name this ATA BTC, not short, lower and long. Okay, so I just renamed it. You don't have to redo the alert, like I said. So now we have our BTC long, we have our BTC short. I can highlight over the long. Yes, long is long, so we're good. That's our plan, guys. So we're in a DCA 1. We're not too bad. Even if we just pump up, right? I mean, we're only $400 or $500 BTC wise away, which is not bad, right? So we're in pretty good shape. If we do fall down, this will DCA. That'll pull our entry to around 24.8. So likelihood of us getting a bounce here up to 24.8 to retest this is probably pretty high. So I'm okay with that. So that is our BTC and my plan. Let's go into the next one. So let's get Aave out of the way. And I wanted to show you, Ave crushed it in the fall. I think it's in a long right now, so we'll assess that. But here's the fall, and look at how it played this, guys, so perfectly. This is when we started it. It's up about 23 bucks. Took a long, closed it, took a long, DCA'd, closed it, took a long, closed it, did not take anything, let the whole thing fall before it took another long. Super, super well played on that. It did take a long here. We did have a breakdown. One DCA it took already, and we're currently hanging out in this range. So let's go ahead and place our second DCA for Ave. We're going to, again, go down to that green line. The green line is, you know, the TA that we did a couple huddles back, right? So and that's why we do that TA, because I don't want to have to continuously look at it, right? So we're going to do the same thing we did with BTC. Let's just get the second DCA somewhere in here. So we're going to go a little bit farther. Let's try 8. So for those who don't know, I'm just moving the percentage away from the entry. That's going to tell me where I'm putting the DCA. 47 is really close to the price, so let's see how 9 is. I don't want to get too close to this green line, but I'd love to get like, that'd be a little, yeah, that's a little better. Because I don't mind being aggressive, but we don't want to be overly aggressive, right? Default is 3 DCAs, so we're going to use the 2 DCAs. You know, not aggressive, kind of conservative, but the third DCA, we're going to really, that's when we become very patient. So now Ave, we're just going to do the same thing, right? We're going to delete the Ave long alert. I'm going to come in here. We're going to hit add alert. ATA Ave long. There we go. And that is our plan for Ave. I'm going to let that roll. So we got that saved. Okay, let's take a look at ETH. So ETH did the same exact thing, which I'll show you shortly. But look at this short. I actually caught the short. Just an amazing trade. We're up 78 bucks in 2 days on ETH. It did also continue to short it. It's currently in a short that is starting to get a little negative. I don't know that I like continuing the shorts, guys. But I'm going, y'all know when I've been doing this for months now, I typically keep ETH going. I only do the 1 DCA. I'm only going to do the 1 DCA, but I'm going to be more picky. If we do pump north, I'll be very picky where I place that second one, right? It would be pretty high, like up here, maybe even up in this range, right? So we'll if we do get stuck, right, we'll just be patient with that. But currently we're not, you know, we're in good shape. I mean, our entry is like 416.32. I mean, we're pretty much there. But look at what it did with the long, guys. This ETH absolutely crushed the long. Also, took its long, sold it, took its long. Look at this perfect DCA. Took the long short, or took the long close. It skipped the entire fall, took another long. So it caught the bottom, which is amazing. Took another long. This one hit a DCA, got out real quick. Took another long and got out real quick, right? So we're not even in a long right now. We made 54 bucks. So in total, we're up 54 and 78 just on ETH alone. So, I mean, that's awesome. That's just in 2 days. So, so we're not touching ETH, guys. We're looking good. We're not in a long, and our short is not even DCA'd one time. So for those copy trading, man, you guys are killing it. Let's go into the LTC. LTC long did the same thing. See, I cheated. I already looked. So here's what's so cool about the LTC. We took the long. It was super patient. It did hit its DCA down here, which gave it enough time to get out before the fall. This is where automation, guys, is just so amazing, because this is the time you're not looking briefly, right? So it drops. You're scared because you're dropping. You think it's going to just fall to the floor. You don't add any volume, right? And then you do. You get stuck, right? You'd still be in that short or in that long. Where the ATA kicked in, stepped up, did its really quick DCA, got out, and it bypassed the whole fall on the long. And keep in mind, the short, right? If you look at the short caught it. Took its short, it caught this drop, and it caught this drop. So the short killed it. And this is the power of our ATAs, is that they trade both ways, right? So not only did we capitalize on the drop from the short, but we did not get stuck in the long, which is freaking amazing. It took another long, took this long, another well-placed DCA'd, and took a bunch more longs, right? So it's just been killing it on the longs. Longs in 2 days is up 54 bucks. Look at the shorts. right? One day, so the short's showing one day because we didn't start the short till yesterday. $108 it caught. Most of this is from this fall right here. So you got to think about it. Just between LTC and ETH, I mean, we're up like $300 in like 2 days, right? Just from those two. I think in total it's like $400 or $500 you're up in 2 days on Goliath, right? So this is a Goliath volume ATA that we're doing. So, but so far, man, just really killed it. The shorts, we did capitalize here. You can see took a whole bunch of shorts here. We did take a short and we are in one DCA, but if you look here, we are literally at our entry. We have a little bit of a kind of a bull flag here, right? So maybe we'll get one more pull down, get us out of this trade, right? And then we'll get that push north. But we're literally like at our entry, so we're not in bad shape on our LTC. So that one's looking pretty good. But just killing it, just can't be happier about that. And that's all we're running right now, guys. Aave long, Aave, yeah. I mean, we're looking pretty good. I don't have anything stuck other than BTC and Aave, but we have a plan for that second DCA. I want to be careful on the shorts, but I was thinking about scaling back my shorts, but I'm kind of thinking, maybe instead of scaling back the shorts, maybe we can look for something else to potentially add for a long and get one more going, right? So in the last 5 minutes, I'm going to look at adding one. I might look at either Sol or Matic. I'm not gonna touch XRP. I know we have it here, guys, but it's been so in the news, it's just not. I'm not interested in that. Matic looks like it's pretty low in its range, right? And it's been taking its beating. But we have found a lot of support in here. Guys, I'm not gonna add it actually. The more I think about it, I'm gonna wait till Friday. Today's Thursday. We're a day past the news. We already got a bunch of pairs going, and we're doing really well. Don't get greedy with your ATAs. I don't like how we're on the 4 hour. We're continuing this bearish pullback. So if I look at this time, by tomorrow we might be as low as here. That would be a better beginning on that long. So I think tomorrow I'll add maybe two more longs, maybe Sol and maybe Matic. And then that will be aggressive through the weekend. We'll let the weekend play out, and then we'll assess it on Monday. So I think that's all I'm going to do for today, guys. So if you're running the copy trade, the beauty is you don't have to do nothing. All you have to do is watch it. You know my plan. We want to be very transparent in the copy trading on what we're doing, what the plan is, what our thoughts are. If you are following along and you're running your own, awesome. I know some people who were running the prior Gambit before the crash on altcoins are running your Aave, Sol, and your Matic long should be probably still stuck. You can add that third DCA level to the lower level where I added my my bottom one there because I believe we were only 2 DCAs in. And then that way when we fall to that lower level where I added the second ones on this one, it'll give you a nice DCA, bring that entry down, and you can get out on that bounce there. So, altcoins will rebound. I think it's just they took a beating, right? The SEC called out a lot of projects, and people are scared. So they start selling it. On top of the projects that it called out, you got the Binance stuff. I mean, I know so many people that didn't want to move certain pairs, so they just sold it on Binance. And I'm like, what are you doing? And so, but people are starting, they're starting to dump these projects because they've made so much on the altcoins and they're fearful, right? But the thing in crypto or really any trading, when people are the most fearful is when people make the most profit, right? So the more experienced traders are going to capitalize on that, on your fear, and they're going to make a lot of money. So hope that helps you guys out. It's going to be an awesome trading day. If you guys want to come in and trade, check us out, botjock.com. Again, I'm going to show TikTok here. The website is right there. You can do a fourth DCA, John, if you've already done a third. I would, if you got the margin, you're good. But if you need to, go down lower. Viral, you say SPY please every single day after I've already done the SPY, man. So you're either joining late or you're not looking at the community events. But you can, everything's recorded, so just go into the community events. But yeah, guys, if again, touch on it. We do have the copy trade program. So if you guys have been following us for a while, but you're like, man, this seems super complicated, you can do the copy trade program. The copy trade program is extremely easy. When you come into the ATA setup, we have a detailed guide. For all of our ATA setup stuff, for the copy trade, you literally only need to do step 4 and 5. Just this and this. That's how simple it is. You don't even need a trading view. You just set it up, let it roll, and set it and forget it. You don't touch it. So that's what we designed it for. But like I said, guys, if you guys want to join, you can check us out for free if you're just even kind of curious. But right there, botjock.com. We charge for our products on our memberships, not our trading or mostly our education. You guys can come in for free on that. So we only charge for our products because our products pay for themselves, and that's how we intended it. So TikTok, you guys can hang out. I'll answer some questions. Community events, I will go ahead and stop this now, and we'll see you guys in the trading room soon. Have a great day.